McQueen, I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green, and I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit, cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly, better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder, and I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Excuse me. We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines, and most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. What do I mean by that? I mean, anybody who comes on my content is a transportation professional. All right. There's no theory on any of my stuff, you guys. I only speak to individuals that can put out information that you can apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many reasons why I probably fly this American flag behind me every single day. A, we're the greatest nation on earth. B, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you live yours as well. It is Wednesday already, Wednesday the 26th, and we are out here. What are we doing today? We are going to talk about sales objections and how, like, where's the opportunity? What can you learn from them? And then we got a couple of articles to break down. We're going to be doing a Q&A show. Actually, I'm going to switch it to tomorrow. We're going to do a Q&A show tomorrow. As Friday, I'm going to have a guest on, and we're going to be doing something cool out there on that. But yeah, tomorrow will be a sales and operations Q&A designated show. So any sales or operations related questions you have for the transportation industry, drop them in my DMs, drop them on the live show here, and we will answer them on Thursday. It's normally going to be Friday, but you know, at the end of the day, you guys, just like all of you who tune into the show, I have a business. I'm out there trying to make shit happen, and I'm trying to build up as much consistency as possible in there. Good news is, I don't know if you guys can see this or hear this on the audio replay, but these are the keys to my new suite that the construction's completed on it. So I'm going to be moving down there. The building construction's completed, so I at least get to start operating out of there. And now the studio build out is going to start. So for those of you who have been following me, all of this shit started out of my bedroom. I moved into this place about a little over like a year and a half ago, and now I'm upgrading it again. I got like 8 workstations that are going to be in there. I'll put some content out there so you guys can kind of see this. As always, I want to show you guys the real progression of somebody who's bootstrapping their companies and where things start and where they evolve into. So like, I'm going to be building out the studio next, and that's going to come in phases, right? Because like what I'm doing with this, it's fucking expensive, right? At the end of the day, but I'll do it. I'll make it happen. But like, I'm going to have like an acoustics company come in and hang panels on the wall. And I'm going to have somebody come in and paint. I'm going to just do some cool shit here, right? It's my fucking studio. It's obviously that flag behind me is going to be there no matter what, because that's the main reason why I'm able to do all of this, is because we live in fucking America, and it's the greatest nation on earth. And I'm going to fucking do all of that with it. So yeah, you guys, we're going to do that. Before we get any further, I got to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub. You guys, vhubapp.com. Whether you're a broker, carrier, or a shipper, we all need access to trailers at some point in time. And the best part about with what they have, you get paid to do this. So if you're an owner op or a small fleet out there, you should never have to shut your operation down because you have a trailer in the shop, because you get paid to move these. This is on top of the revenue that you can get by loading this trailer out. West Valley City, Utah, going up to Calgary, Alberta, you get $1,550 to move this. Again, on top of the revenue that you can get by loading it out. Now, if you're out there trying to win new business with somebody, there's those enterprise shippers that we all want to go after, but they might need a drop trailer pool. You can do this with VHub, you guys, because like with this one right here, there's 150 drive-ins in Paragould, Arkansas, needing to get up to Toronto. You get 1,000 Canadian per trailer. So what you can do, though, is you can take these. They don't have to just pick up in Paragould. You can bring them over to Louisville, Kentucky, create a drop trailer pool. It just has to end up in Mississauga. Again, 1,000 Canadian per trailer. And then Dallas, Texas to Long Sault, Ontario, you get $750 US. And then finally, they have San Diego, California, going out to Houston, Texas, and you get $800 US to do that. So hit them up, you guys, vhubapp.com. My friends Xavier Campos and Stacy Steen, they'll be in the audience. Just do me a favor, let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. Justin McAfee, yo, what is up, dog? Good to see you. Diego Fonseca, good morning, Freight Fellows. Flo, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Patty, what is up? Hola, ¿cómo estás, Patty? All right. Whitney Young watching over on YouTube. Good morning, Freight family. He's got that American flag in his comment there. I love it. Tracy St. Clair, she's watching on YouTube as well. Good morning to you, Tracy. Luke Wright, good morning. Yeah, you guys, it's really exciting to kind of be a part of all this. I appreciate all the congratulations coming in. April Maroney, what's up? Good morning to you as well. Good morning, Angel. And Barry, yeah, man, making moves. It's crazy because it's like, fuck, it's wild to kind of like put out there with all this stuff that's happening. I'm actually dropping a day early. I'm doing a 3-year recap in business episode tomorrow. It's dropping. I normally drop them on Friday, but I'm dropping them tomorrow because yesterday, April 27th of 2020 is when I filed for my LLC. So I'm going to go over, it's like 40 minutes of me, literally just me talking about all the progression, all the shit, all the real side of business that, I've gone through, all the, I don't want to say all the mistakes I've made. I need to do and talk about those more, but the shit's not easy. And I did my best in that time frame to put out what I've really experienced. So yeah, we're going to be jumping into the new spot here coming up probably early next week. I'm going to be putting my son to work here. He doesn't know it yet, but he's gonna be moving shit out of this office down there. And yeah, we're gonna get that one built out. And then over the course of the coming months, we're gonna have a Joe Rogan-esque studio where I'm gonna do it is, like I said, I'm gonna have the acoustics company come in and hang panels. I'm gonna have a sound guy come in and set my mics up because I got 4 mic stands that I'm gonna be doing in there. And I'm gonna do a multi-camera angle in there. So anybody who's in Phoenix, you want to come in and shoot the shit in the studio when it's all built out, you're more than welcome, you guys. This whole thing is for the industry, right? Like, we're here to move this industry forward, and it's going to come through each and every one of us putting it out there and shit like that. So fuck it, we're going to make it happen, you guys, and it's going to be bootstrapped. And I got some exciting other news coming up here, which I'll be releasing. But fucking lawyers. No, I'm just kidding. They're very valuable. But yeah, shit's happening, and I really got into that in that episode is talking about like the process and building things up. And, and that was kind of like my little topic on the sales objections, right? Like, and the opportunity that's in there, because I think at times we go into I'm guilty of this. I go into every single outreach as I'm going to win the business. And it doesn't always happen that way. But, when you're getting those objections, instead of thinking like, oh, this is just what happens on every call, what can you do differently in that outreach, in that time, to maybe not receive the objection or take the objection away from them? Like, brokers are notorious for, well, all my driver friends out here are going to laugh at this. Brokers are notorious for doing some pretty shady shit, right? There's no fucking ifs, ands, or buts about it. How are you different from that, though? How can you tailor your response? Because not everybody's asset only. There's a lot of shippers out there who love working with brokers because there's a lot of good brokers out there. How do you position yourself, though, when you get those objections? How do you work through them? How do you navigate through them? Even if it doesn't work out on this call, how can you prepare yourself to have it work out on the next call, right? The next phone outreach or the next email outreach. There's a lot of value inside of this. A lot of the individuals that I talk to, they're like, how do I get shippers? Like, how do I get confidence on the phone? There's no other way to describe it than this, you guys. You have to put in the fucking reps. All right. You have to put in the reps. You have to get hung up on. You have to get voicemails. You have to get told no. That's where the confidence is going to come from. It's not going to come about thinking about doing shit. And, I'm a human being too, you guys. I get guilty of this as well. I get the nervousness, and I've never met anybody who can honestly say, oh, I absolutely love the fucking rejection and the constant beatdown of sales of the cold calling game and freight. If they're telling you that, they're lying to you. They're trying to make it up. I'm just going to be honest. I don't like it just as much as the next person, but I'm in a position where if I don't do these outreaches, I don't eat, right? Like I can't make shit happen. So for me, is every time I'm reaching out, every time I'm giving an objection, where's the opportunity in that? Okay, they might not need my services today, but when will they need my services? How do I stay present? My big thing with calls and outreaches 1 through like 5 or 6, fucking remember Chris. That's it. That is my sole mission, because I know the reality is they're not going to give me freight on the first phone call or the second or the third, but they need to remember my name, right? So that's my big thing, is getting out there and positioning myself to where, all right, every single time I'm giving an objection, what's the validity in that? What can I change in my outreach to maybe position myself in my little 30-second elevator speech to not make them want to use that objection? Because for the majority of them, they're all the same, right? They're asset only, or we're not busy right now, or customer routed, all of that stuff. Cool. But where's the opportunity in there? And then frankly, what can you say on the next call to avoid falling into that objection initially? Because I think like it's just a quick way to get most people off the phone. Most people get told we're asset only, and then they're done. They're like, all right, cool, have a great day. Like, are they though? Are they only asset for real? Are they customer routed, vendor routed? What more can we do? How can we push through these conversations to explore more? Not every person you reach out to is going to turn into a customer of yours. Okay. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And again, that's why I say, what can you learn from these calls to set yourself up for the next one in those instances? So, all righty. Jerome Jones, good afternoon. He's watching over on YouTube. Dude, YouTube's taking off, man. I love it. Montre Lincoln, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. April says, it has to feel good to look back and see how far you've come, the struggles, failures, success. I appreciate that, April. It's crazy. I don't stop and think about that stuff. And it's not healthy. Like it's not, because there's a really good book out there called The Gap and the Gain. And it talks about living in the gap of, cool, yes, I've accomplished a bunch, but I'm not where I want to be. And I focus on that as opposed to living in the gain, which you're describing there, of shit, look at where I did come from in my bedroom in 36 months, right? So I'm working on that. That's one of those things that, again, I'm a real fucking human being. And I struggle just like everybody else. And that's one area that I'm really focusing on improving. Documentary of value. Yes, Barry. That's it, man. Just trying to keep the real side of shit out there, because not everybody's got fucking a golden parachute or comes from money and everything else, or can just like, a lot of us are out here, a lot of us watching the show, we're fucking forging our own paths. We're out here making shit happen on our own. And that's what this whole environment is for, you guys, is to keep people in business. I fucking hate seeing people go out of business. All right, first article. Freightwaves.com. CTA and OIDA target Gonzalez statements in latest filings in AB5. The AB5 case is not going quietly, which, again, I'm not going to get into everything on my stance on AB5, because I broke this down a lot, but it's fucking modern day communism is what it is. I fucking hate it. It's bullshit. And I'll leave it at that. If you want to hear my more in-depth stuff, just go back in my catalog of shows and you can find all of that. Taking lead from earlier Prop 22 court victory, Trucking Group says AB5 author targeted trucking. Both the California Trucking Association and OIDA have filed amended complaints in the ongoing lawsuit regarding California's AB5 contractor law. And as expected, the changes have a common target. Lorena Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a former state assemblywoman, is the author of AB5, which tightly restricts whether a worker can be defined as an independent contractor. Its tenets favor classifying workers as employees. AB5 includes the ABC test out there. We all know what that is. AB5 has a slew of exemptions. It's those exemptions that led to amended complaints. They follow out there in March, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals decision in the case known as Olson versus California kicked back an earlier dismissal of an anti-AB5 case brought in 2019 by Uber, Postmates, and several individuals. Let me see. In doing so, the court concluded that the exemptions, in combination with Gonzalez's own statements, could be seen as denying Uber and Postmates the equal protection of laws in putting together AB5 and then layering a wide variety of complaints. Gonzalez was in office in 2019 when it was signed into law by Governor Newsom. She has since resigned and is now the executive secretary treasury of the California Labor Federation. Interesting. I wonder what that is. California Labor Federation. All right. I'm assuming it's a union, just based off of the fucking name. Yep, it's definitely a union. Shocking. Anyways, the fact that AB5 was intended to target motor carriers is all right. I'm just trying to make sure it is it's clear from the floor debate on the bill. The CTA says in a brief, the organization quotes a statement by Gonzalez that a goal of AB5 was to rid an outdated broker model that allows companies to basically make money and set rates for people they call independent contractors. For the industries exempted from AB5, the legal test was whether a worker is independent or an employee remains the Borello test, the standard out there. The AB5 was aimed at trucking. It's also clear from a dozen exemptions and exceptions inserted into AB5, the CTA. These exclusions establish that the traditional Borello test continues to apply to numerous industries and professions. All right, let me see the profession. I'm just trying to find tweeted. All right, Gonzalez tweeted about the exemption in 2019 and that saying AB5 would allow the truck driver to work as an independent contractor for a construction firm, but that the owner operator must work as an employee for a trucking company. In doing so, the CTA said she was specifically acknowledging the disparate treatment of these similarly situated drivers. OOIDA's brief also cited the construction truckers exemption. No rational basis exists from using one classification test out there. Let me see. All right, both CTA and OOIDA argued that they're okay. I'm just trying to, because there's a lot of stuff in here, but all right, let me see here. The two groups also argued that AB5 violates the Constitution's Commerce Clause. This is ongoing litigation. Yeah, so this isn't going anywhere. And again, I always want to look at it from this perspective. This individual, because this bill, call it what it is very what? It's very pro-union, right? Because now again, I'm not saying that there aren't people who weren't taken advantage of in this situation, but this bill was been very pro-union from the start. And I always like to follow the money and stuff. And the main author of this bill is now employed by a union. Shocker. So force people's hands that would make them essentially employees when they don't want to be employees. And then the union comes in and says, hey, now you're a union organization. Shocker, right? Like it's just fucking, it's just such bullshit to me. It's such bullshit that they are removing people's rights to choose how they want to operate. Again, I thought this was the United States of America. This is the United States of America. I think this is bullshit. I think it's coercion at its finest between the labor unions and the state of California to force people into it's forced labor. Fuck it, I'll call it what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's bullshit. And again, follow the trail, and everything's becoming more and more clear. The author of this bill is now a ranking member at a fucking union. Shocker. All right, so that there's going to be more and more. I don't always agree with OOIDA, but I agree with OOIDA on this, and I'm glad to see that they are doing a lot to try and get this out there and get this as removed, because it's only a matter of time before the feds try and come in here and do this and, destroy small business, because, yeah, right? Small business isn't the backbone. I'm being sarcastic. It's an assault on small business across the entire United States. So that article, Freight Waves, it's a good article. There's a lot of good information in there. I would really urge everyone to go out there and read this and see how it can apply to your business. CTA and OOIDA target Gonzalez's statements and latest filing in AB5 case. As always, I put the links to every single article I break down, you guys, on the Freight Coach YouTube channel, as well as the Coffee with the Freight Coach audio only replay on iTunes and Spotify. And as always, if you saw value in what you hear here today, you guys, share the show. If you go to those other platforms, hit subscribe, share the show, rank the show, get it out there. That's just how we reach more and more people. Freight Sensei in the house. He says, hump day, let's get it. Carlos, it's all good, my man. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Fabian, what is up? Good morning, sir. Let's fucking go. He is right. All right. So next article we're going to get into is also from Freight Waves. It says, so this is what the bottom of the freight market feels like. Carrier sentiment in Q2 now negative, brokers and shippers still positive. Freight pundits have spent plenty of time over the last few months wondering whether conditions would improve. In the first quarter, despite that initial glimmer of hope, capacity remained too high for demand. That pushed rates further downward and contributing to big ticket acquisitions and bankruptcy news within trucking. It did not help boost freight sentiment. Now Q2 has begun without much evidence of substantial uptick on the horizon. As earnings stream in from major transportation providers, those headwinds are now on full display. Management for JB Hunt tempered expectations for the rest of the year, and then they refer to it as a freight recession. And in truth, it takes time to find new anecdotes on social media about how absurdly low truckload rates have gone. Meanwhile, maritime imports remain sluggish, which means foreign goods won't be saving domestic volume. Shippers are now enjoying the most pricing power they have had in years. We might now be at the bottom of the freight market, and it feels like that. The indexes which delivered surveys out there from carriers, brokers, and shippers measure near-term and long-term profitability, workforce, and business investments. For the first time, we started tracking this in Q4 of 2022. Carrier sentiment is praying for nadir. I don't know, NADIR. I don't know how to pronounce it. I've never heard of that before. I went to public school. It's a big deal for the overall carrier score, but negative even in conditions like these. That's because the longer term metrics like a profitability a year from now weighed the same near-term profitability. Naturally, the most respondents default to thinking next year's second quarter will be more profitable than the current. Let's see, sector respondents scored. I want to know how many people they talk to with this. Again, I'm not saying that there isn't shit going on and like it's not tough out there. I just want to see out of all the providers that I just want to see how many respondents there were out there, because, you know, data, as I talk about, data can be very subjective, right? If you say 50% of respondents say this and you only fucking talk to 2 people, again, of course, data is very, it's great, right? Like check multiple data subsets out there. And I'm not arguing with the data inside of this article. I'm just more of like, I want to see, like, when we see respondents say this, I want to see how many fucking respondents, right? How many fucking respondents are we talking about here? So that's just my opinion. All right. Carriers are positive about the 12-month expectations, but longer-term profitability and workforce were dampened relatively into Q1. Business investment sentiment, a gauge in how welcoming or unwelcoming the current environment for new technology investments, dropped to 2.60 from 8.69, which means the carriers are less likely to solicit third-party vendors. Broker sentiment looking for an opening. All right. At first glance, it doesn't make sense to see overall sentiment for brokers. Improve for brokers, excuse me. The likeliest explanation is that when we were surveying for Q1, data was also suggesting the freight market might be stabilizing, which tends to yield a more challenging environment for brokers. Instead, truckload spot rates continue to drop. The TIA published a white paper in February about the damages of fraudulent double brokering. That white paper worked to raise visibility out there. When perpetrated fraudulently double brokering often works. Okay, we don't need it. We all know what double brokering is here. And then, all right, going on. And then it turned, it's talking about the broker transparency out there. Okay. So good information in the article, but again, let's talk about the reality of what is going on out here. Is the market at the bottom? It's everybody's guess to say. Now, you know, you're going to see individuals who were talking a year ago about a freight recession almost like celebrating in this right now. Like, see, we said it a year ago. It just took a year to materialize. My personal opinion is, and I talked about this, when you see a larger company out there talking about a freight recession, this is just my assumption. And I was talking about this the other day. Like, I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth, but from a strategy perspective, if you own a large fleet, and you have some open seats right now, why not push this narrative out there to, maybe nudge somebody in a certain direction that makes them maybe not want to work for themselves anymore and go work for a fleet. Again, I'm not saying that's anybody's intentions. I could just see that as a possible strategy. or the sales reps that are out there for other brokerages who are trying to build their book of business, maybe take their foot off the gas because they see large providers say, oh, it's a freight recession. You know what? I'm not going to make those sales calls. Okay. The odds are never stacked in your favor when you're building a business, though. All right. I'm going to cut to the chase. The odds aren't stacked in your favor as a small business. You got to work really fucking hard to establish yourself. Just because you see people out there talking who frankly could give two shits less if you're in business or out of business. They don't fucking care. All right. Most of the individuals who are out here talking about the doom and gloom of the industry could give two shits less if you're in business or not. All right. As somebody out there who's bootstrapping their organization, who gives lots of fucks about this because my family fucking depends on this. If you're one of those individuals like me, there is an opportunity. All right. There's an opportunity in any market that's out there because the reality is I can't control if somebody gives up on their dream or not. I can't control that. What I can control is the information and the sentiment that I put out there. And the sentiment that I'm always going to rely on is, yes, it is fucking hard. All right. It is very fucking hard to build a sustainable business that remains profitable, that gets you through ups and downs of the markets and everything. It's very fucking challenging. All right. There was a false sense of how easy it was over the last couple of years. And you're starting to see that. But the reality is this. If you are actually that badass motherfucker that you tell yourself you are every fucking day when you look in the mirror, you will find an option right now. You will find a solution to the non-freight that's out there. Because trust me, all my friends that are owner ops that watch the show, I see you guys in the comments. I get your guys' messages. Any broker that's out there posting loads at $1 a mile, the real brokers in the industry agree with you. Fuck those guys. All right. That's such a fringe side of the industry in either direction because there are a lot of brokers out there who want to work with you. All right. Who want that consistency in your business. They want to forge those relationships, but those relationships are hard, right? It takes a lot. The majority of the freight that you guys want doesn't make it out to a load board. Okay. It never will. The best freight. I guarantee if all of my broker friends who watch this show, if I polled all of them and they all said it, all their good shit never makes it out to a load board. All their high paying loads, their consistent loads never make it out to a load board. We have to stop thinking on a transactional basis. All right. You have to stop. If you're a broker and you're out there pushing rates down, A, fuck you, but B, you're not going to survive this next market shift because you need to build sustainable partnerships. And everyone, oh, they're hard. Of course it's fucking hard because you got to stop putting your best interests first every fucking time. Okay? If you want to make it through this market, because it's going to get harder before it gets easier. All right? And that's a tough pill to fucking swallow. It's going to get harder. Customers are going to be more selective on who they work with. People are going to be a lot more, the leash for the bullshit is going to be fucking even shorter. All right. If they know there's no fucking second chances in markets like this. Okay. You have to fucking show up. There are plenty of providers out there, brokers, carriers, shippers. They all want the same fucking thing. All right. It just takes a lot of fucking effort to sift through the bullshit, the low hanging fruit, all of that stuff. All right. So it's like, as you're navigating through this, as you're seeing some of these headlines, as you're seeing the celebratory things went to shit, you got to fucking drown out the noise right now, you guys. You got to drown out the noise and you got to focus on what you can control. Okay. What can you control? If you're a carrier out there and you've been playing the spot market, again, I'm not here to tell you how to run your business or anything like that, but look at your last 30 days. Your last 60 days, where is the most profitable lanes that you've run? Have you followed up with that broker? Have you followed up with them? It's on them. Like, again, as a broker, you should be the one doing this. But again, this is your fucking business here. All right. Have you followed up with that broker to see when they have that load available that was more profitable for you? Again, you got to fight for these opportunities right now more than ever. You fight for these opportunities, you guys, over these next 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, however fucking long this goes. Nobody's got a crystal ball. There's a lot of macro geopolitical implications that are going on right now on top of all of this. But again, bring it down to your business. What can you control? That's what I'm focused on. I have fucking developed tunnel vision right now. I have developed tunnel vision. I know exactly the direction that I'm heading. I know exactly where I'm going. I know exactly what I need to do every single day. I pay attention to, I see shit that's out there, but at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff that goes on in this industry is completely out of my fucking control. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to worry about what it is that I can do every single day. I'm going to develop, I have my plan, I have my strategy, and I'm going to continue to show up and execute upon that plan and that strategy every single day, one day at a time, one truckload at a time, 1 hour at a time, and I'm going to fucking win. All right. And every single one of you who are watching this show and listening to this replay, you can be on this as well. And you can fucking win. And you can show every motherfucker out there who's sitting here talking about how shit's falling apart. You should sell your fleet. And you can give them a double burden, say, fuck you, I made it. Because that's what I'm going to do. Anyways, you guys, that's going to be it for today. I'm going to change my tune here. I'm ready to fucking go make things happen. But, at the end of the day, you guys, whatever happens out there, what can you do? Bring it in. Singularly focused in on your business, your operation, and you guys can make stuff happen. But that's going to be it for today, you guys. I'll be back tomorrow as always. And hey, if you guys saw value in what you heard here today, share the show. All right, subscribe, share the show, rank the show, get it out there. That's how we grow, is through each and every one of you. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.